The small, quiet American town of Grim Hollow had only one moment of excitement each year. It was when the traveling carnival rolled in, painting the night with its bright lights, filling the air with loud, cheerful music, and spinning its colorful rides against the dark sky. For the kids, it was the highlight of their year. For the adults, it was a tolerable nuisance. But deep down, everyone, young and old, knew the old warning that hung over the carnival like a shadow. Whenever it comes to town, someone disappears. Carter, now a teenager, remembered the faces from previous years. The smiling neighbor who vanished, the classmate who was there one day and gone the next. The townspeople would whisper for a while, then life would go on, but the fear never truly left. His best friend, Sam, always tried to brush it off. But, "Bro, it's just a superstition," Sam would say, punching Carter's arm playfully. "Nothing ever actually happens. It's just stories to scare kids." But Carter wasn't so sure. He felt a cold knot in his stomach every time he saw the carnival tents go up. This year, his younger sister Emma was practically bouncing off the walls with excitement. "Please, Carter, please take me," she begged, her eyes wide and pleading. He looked at her innocent, happy face and couldn't say no. He reluctantly agreed, promising himself he would keep a close eye on her, that he wouldn't let her out of his sight for even a second. That evening, as dusk settled, the carnival glowed like a strange, beautiful beacon on the edge of town. The giant Ferris wheel spun majestically above the rooftops, its lights blinking in a hypnotic pattern. Music blasted from every corner, a chaotic but joyful symphony, and the air was thick with the sweet, intoxicating smell of popcorn and fried pastries. Emma grabbed Carter's hand, her small fingers tight in his, and pulled him through the bustling crowd. She led him toward a small, unassuming food stall tucked away between a dizzying spinning ride and a hall of mirrors. A crooked, hand-painted sign hung above it, reading, "Witch's Special Crisp Fries, $5. Behind the counter stood a woman, her figure cloaked in shadows. Long, stringy black hair fell around her face, which was almost completely hidden under a dark hood. There was something deeply unsettling about her stillness amidst the chaos of the carnival. But Emma was already hopping with anticipation. "2 plates. Please," she chirped, her voice full of glee. The woman leaned forward, and the movement was slow, almost reptilian. Her voice was a low whisper when she spoke. "First, tell me, how much do you weigh?" Carter frowned, stepping in front of Emma slightly. "What kind of question is that? Just give us the food." A thin, unnerving smile flickered across the part of her face he could see. "It matters," she rasped, "in case I need to carry you." Emma glanced nervously at Carter, her excitement dimming. But the witch was already scooping the fries into paper trays. They smelled absolutely delicious, a scent so irresistible it seemed to overpower his senses. The woman handed them over. Emma, her fear forgotten, took a big bite, but her smile instantly faded. Her eyes went wide with confusion. "Carter, I feel dizzy. Before he could react, a wave of vertigo hit him too. He staggered, gripping his head as the world spun. Emma, something's wrong. The ground rushed up to meet them, and everything went black. All around them, the carnival crowd walked by, laughing and shouting. Their eyes passing right over the two siblings collapsed on the ground, as if they were completely invisible. When Carter finally managed to pry his heavy eyelids open, the world was a blur of dark, swaying shapes. He was being carried, slung over a surprisingly strong shoulder. The scent of pine and damp earth filled his nostrils. He could hear Emma's muffled sobs next to him. He craned his neck and saw the hooded woman from the food stall marching them effortlessly through a dark forest. Emma started to scream, "Help! Somebody, please!" But their desperate cries were swallowed by the distant, cheerful noise of the carnival. It was like they were in another world entirely. The woman carried them to a massive stone cliff face, where the entrance to a cave was hidden by overgrown vines. She pressed her palm flat against the cold stone and whispered an ancient guttural phrase, "Open gateway of shadows," with a low grinding sound that vibrated through the ground. A section of the rock slid open, revealing a dark, cavernous space within. The sight inside made Carter's blood run cold. Dozens of people from Grim Hollow were huddled behind thick iron bars, their faces pale with terror and exhaustion. He recognized faces from the news, from school, from the market, the missing people from this year and years past. The witch dropped Carter and Emma onto the dusty floor, and her voice echoed in the cave, filled with a raw, centuries-old hatred. "Years ago, my husband and my children died in a terrible fire. This whole town just watched. No one helped. No one cared. They let my family burn." Her voice cracked with anguish. "Tonight, I finally finish my revenge." She roughly shoved Carter and Emma into an empty cage, the iron door clanging shut with a sound of finality, and then she left to gather more victims from the unsuspecting carnival. Back in Grim Hollow, the initial joy of the carnival night had curdled into panic. As the hours passed, it became clear that many women and children had failed to return home. A wave of fear washed over the town, colder and more real than any old superstition. Armed with torches and lanterns, the townsfolk began to search, their voices calling out names into the night. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness at the edge of the forest. It was the witch. "Your loved ones are mine now," she hissed, her voice carrying on the wind. "Their suffering will repay my pain." A mix of fear and rage propelled the crowd forward. They followed her into the dark woods, their torchlight dancing on the trees, leading them directly to her hidden cave. When the witch opened the stone gateway, she expected to find her prisoners weak and defeated. She didn't expect them to fight back. Seeing the townsfolk gathered outside, a surge of adrenaline hit Carter. Sam was at the front of the crowd, his face a mask of shock and determination. "Sam, the torch," Carter yelled. Sam didn't hesitate. He thrust his burning torch through the bars. Carter grabbed it. "You won't hurt anyone else," he roared at the witch. It was the signal. The townsfolk, empowered by Carter's defiance, began hurling their torches at the witch. One after another, the flames found their mark, catching on her dark cloak. She shrieked, a sound of pure agony, as fire wrapped around her, a terrible mirror of the fate her family had suffered. No, she screamed, twisting and clawing at the air. My revenge, my curse. Her body crumbled, turning to ash that scattered on the damp cave floor. As soon as she was gone, the magic broke. The iron bars of the cages dissolved into dust. The prisoners were free. By morning, the carnival had vanished without a trace, leaving only a patch of flattened grass. As the survivors stumbled back into town, Emma whispered, her body still trembling, Is it finally over? Carter pulled her into a tight hug, holding her close. For now, he said, his voice low. But somewhere deep in the silent forest, the wind seemed to carry a chilling whisper, a final, lingering promise. The curse never truly ends.